New York is one of the biggest global cities in the world. Amongst its rich mix of neighborhoods, it has established a unique identity that is admired the world over. Billionaires Row, with its breathtaking views, luxurious interiors, and endless amenities, not to mention the eye-watering price tags, is only for those with a 10-figure bank balance. But how did this area come to be? What made this particular district grow? This is the story behind New York's Billionaires Row. Its popularity and geographic restrictions have made it one of the planet's most densely populated areas. Developers have been competing for space here for decades, balancing their needs to make a profit while also respecting the area's history. Planning controls have helped to create more identities in different areas. But it also creates issues in regards to redevelopment, especially in residential areas. With Manhattan's popularity constantly increasing and a high demand for luxury residences, developers are turning to more commercial areas in search of quality sites with enough space. Situated to the immediate southwest of Central Park, the midtown streets between Park Avenue and Columbus Circle have long had an air of prestige. Home to iconic landmarks such as the Plaza Hotel, Russian Tea Room, and Carnegie Hall, the district naturally appeals to high-end residential developers. The area has been dubbed Billionaires Row as a result of high-end property developments, successfully completing 157 in 2014. Was followed by the development of 432 Park Avenue in 2016 and 53 West 53rd Street, 111 West 57th Street, and Central Park Tower afterwards. These properties offer extreme luxury against the backdrop of Central Park's best views and in some of the city's most desirable neighborhoods. They are close to all sorts of specialty shops and local amenities. You can also avoid making Manhattan's co-op agreements. When you make a co-op agreement, you're basically buying shares in a property in exchange for the exclusive use of one of its units. These arrangements require people to share financial information, and those who are very rich often feel uncomfortable about doing that. New development in this area is not easy. The city suffers from extreme overdevelopment, and many of the projects that developers started have been forced to innovate to find small plots of land. Developers need to find ways to maximize the amount of floor space in order to make a profit. They often do this by designing buildings that sit up against the property's height limit. Developers can overcome the limits of their space by purchasing air rights from neighboring properties and stacking these rights onto their site. This approach is great for city planners. They are able to plan with the future in mind and be sure that developers stay within their property lines, which ensures that everyone has good views and light. Building super slender tower structures that are defined as having a width-to-height ratio greater than 1:7. By using concrete instead of steel, engineers have been able to increase design flexibility and the overall strength of their structures. In the case of 53 West 53rd Street and the impressive 432 Park Avenue, they've done an amazing job of integrating the perimeter concrete structure into the overall aesthetic of the external facade. With its high strength, the use of reinforced concrete enabled these super slender towers to be built up to extreme height, but they were subject to further engineering in order to ensure their stability. The 432 Park Avenue, with a height-to-length ratio of 1:15, includes double floor cutouts at 12 floor intervals, which makes it possible for powerful winds to pass through and around its form. This prevents the buildup of low pressure on one side of the structure as air currents move around it. If not addressed, these areas could create repetitive rhythmic suction forces that will cause the tower to sway towards its higher levels. 432 Park Avenue's open floors combined with the use of tuned mass dampers help prevent the tower from swaying. Tuned mass dampers are instruments that shift depending on where the swaying motion is most prominent and provide stability when they're required. The Central Park Tower, at 472 meters tall, is the tallest building on Billionaires Row. It also ranks second in America. Finally, the 111 West 57th Street in New York City has a width-to-height ratio of 1:24. This is done to combat vortex shedding and to add some variety to the facade. These impressive engineering developments have resulted in the rise of New York's Billionaires Row. there is also evidence that this phenomenon has been spreading, and other markets are starting to be affected by it. The origin of these structures can be traced back to New York City, and they are unique in their existence at this point in architectural history. A product of New York's own zoning restrictions and engineering ingenuity, Billionaires Row has become the latest distinct neighborhood in the rich tapestry of this thriving city. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe.